December 2020. Emailed to TEDxEnniskillen. Hi Emma, I saw your post about speaker applications for TEDxEnniskillen, and it got me thinking about TEDx speakers. How amazing are these speakers that they can get up on stage and that they can share their idea worth spreading. It's part of the reason that I have never wanted to do a TEDx talk. Replace wanted with scared. Scared of getting up on stage, scared of sharing my idea, and scared of being judged. Because surely my idea couldn't be worth spreading, because I'm just Jane. March 2022, first Zoom masterclass for the TEDxEnniskillen speakers. Jane, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your talk? I froze and then I mumbled. To be honest, I can't remember what I said. I don't even know if it made sense. All I remember thinking was, don't blink, don't blink, don't you dare blink, Jane. Because when you blink, the tears are going to stream down your face, and everyone on the call is going to think you're a fool. I couldn't wait for my moment to be over. I couldn't wait to press that damn leave meeting button. Personal development coaches would probably describe what I've just told you as imposter syndrome. It has the three main symptoms: anxiety, avoidance, and fear. And see, to be honest, that's exactly what I thought I had. My initial TEDx talk was going to be on imposter syndrome. It was going to be on imposter syndrome and how it can stop you from achieving success. So it was normal that I was experiencing this, wasn't it? As I began to write, the words wouldn't flow. And when they did, they felt fake. There was a voice inside my head that said, Jane, if you talk about imposter syndrome, then you're going to be the person that everyone expects you to be. Expects me to be? What did that mean? It just kept going round and round in my head, and I had to figure out why. Imposter syndrome is defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. But here's the thing. I didn't doubt my abilities. I didn't feel like a fraud. I knew I could do it. I knew I could stand on this very stage and deliver a TEDx talk. Those tears that I tried to hide, well, they were tears of fear. You see, I was scared. I was scared of being judged because I'm not your typical TEDx speaker. You see, I've never spoken on a stage before, so this is my first time. I have never shared my voice with the world. I have never shared my passion. I don't have a following. And yet, I was preparing myself for one of the biggest stages. People would judge, and I wasn't ready for that. But where did this fear come from? It wasn't there when I agreed to do TEDx. You see, in January, after the speakers had been announced, I had started telling people, I'm doing a TEDx talk. And although people congratulated me and supported me, I did get some feedback of, you're doing a TEDx talk. Like Jane Roper is doing a TEDx talk. What possibly could you be talking about? That fear and that judgment started to affect me, whether I wanted to believe it or not. That fear got so much that I nearly ran away. I nearly ran away from my opportunity. How do you describe someone that doesn't doubt their abilities, yet will actively run away from opportunity? Does that make sense? No? Is it a thing? I don't know. So I went and did the most sensible thing that I thought of. I asked my friends. I said, what scares you most? Failure or judgment? And the answer surprised me. Everyone could deal with failing. They could accept it and they could move on. What they didn't want to deal with, they didn't want to deal with other people's judgments, other people's opinions on their actions. And what that tells us, it tells us that people won't try for the fear of judgment, and that is a potential waste. But here's the thing. Growing up, we're told, never judge a book by its cover, yet we all do. We judge the fellow that has a lovely suit, drives a fancy sports car, as being successful. We judge the mother who works full-time and can't pick the kids up as having her priorities wrong. Why? Because that is what society would have us believe. You see, society assigns us a stereotype, and this stereotype has a particular set of behaviours, and from that we're judged. Don't believe me? Did anyone see the picture of Bill Gates? So for anyone that doesn't know, Bill Gates is one of the wealthiest men in the world. Last year, Bill Gates was pictured at Dick's drive-thru diner in Seattle, ordering a hamburger and chips. News outlets across the world grabbed this headline and ran it. The headline was, Bill Gates, embodiment of humility. Embodiment of humility? This is a man in jeans, trainers, and a jumper, standing in line, waiting for food, and is going to pay for it. How the hell is that the embodiment of humility? It's a little bit bizarre when you put it like that, isn't it? The reason? It didn't fit the stereotypical profile of a billionaire. So what does that teach us? That teaches us that if you go outside of your stereotype, you will be judged, either positively or negatively. After that, I assigned myself what I like to call plain Jane syndrome. So plain Jane syndrome is when society assigns you a stereotype. And that stereotype is based on a few characteristics, like your sex, your age, your social status, your income, and where you are from. We have no say in the matter, so it's like another illness. Sufferers fall into two camps. You have camp number one. These people don't really mind. They don't really mind having a stereotype and being confined. They're happy enough. But camp two, well, I fall into camp two, and we display symptoms of extreme frustration. Extreme frustration that we are given a stereotype and then judged when we dare to go outside of that stereotype. And here's the thing. Remember in my research where I said people didn't want to try because they didn't want to be judged? Well, sufferers of camp two, we sometimes put things off that we want to do because we don't want to be judged. And I know people will say, well, all judgments aren't nasty, but a lot of the time you get what's called a joke with a jag. I experienced it. Mine was, oh, do you see Jane? She's doing one of those TEDx talks. Who wants to be the butt of a joke? So let's ask ourselves, how many dreams is plain Jane syndrome stopping? Wait, stop. Other people's opinions aren't any of your business. Who has seen that quote all over Instagram with the hashtag resilience, hashtag self-development? And while it sounds nice, it doesn't work in reality. You see, we're human beings, and we are programmed, whether we like it or not, that we want to be accepted and that we want to be liked. We have to stop fear-shaming people that because they're scared of judgment, they're perceived as weak and not resilient. No, if you don't want to be judged and you're scared of it, you're just human. And while we're at it, we need to stop telling people the nursery rhyme of sticks and stones may break my bones because words will never hurt me. Words do hurt, opinions hurt, and judgments hurt. Instead of trying to come up with all of these nice quotes to plaster all over Instagram with these hashtags, we need to give people a toolkit to overcome this and to help them step out of their stereotype. My treatment plan to cure plain Jane syndrome and be the change follows 3 steps. Number 1, be realistic. When I say to you, be the change, you probably think of Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Michelle Obama, all of these amazing people who have done amazing things and are the embodiment of change. But here's the thing. To be the change isn't a destination. It's a process. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So start at the beginning. Don't start at the end. Don't think that you can't do something because you don't have 10,000 followers or you're not considered a thought leader. Find that one person that believes in you. Find that one person that supports you and will share your ambition. And then go from there. Amplify it up. Secondly, take action. Now, that seems obvious, but it's the type of action I want you to take. I want you to take consistent action, smaller steps. I started my personal development journey about 2 years ago. I read the books Thinking Big, talked about Type C goals and quantum leaps. And whilst they're great and prove beneficial, it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're at the beginning of that journey. As a marketer, I tell my clients the story of the tortoise and the hare. So the hare, he comes in, he looks like a winner. He's like, yeah, I'm going to win this race. I'm fast, I'm this, I'm that. And everyone says, yep, my money's on the hare. Then we have the tortoise. The tortoise walks in. He's unassuming. He doesn't say anything. And he's slow. And people immediately go, that tortoise ain't winning that race. But what happens? The hare becomes inconsistent. This tortoise, on the other hand, he takes consistent yet tiny steps, and he wins that race. Finally, be like a snake. And I want you to stick with me in this one. So, snakes, in my opinion, have one of the worst stereotypes there is. They're perceived as these evil creatures who are set out to harm us. Has anyone ever seen the film Snakes on a Plane? Yes, I'm hoping yes. But, okay, so they're harmless. But 85% of the world's snakes aren't actually harmless. They're just there. They just want to get on with their life. But they do this amazing thing. They shed their skin. They shed their skin when it no longer serves them because they want to grow. And in shedding that skin, they also shed their parasites. So take that as a metaphor. Be like a snake. Shed your stereotype, and in that, shed the judgment that is associated with that stereotype. And finally, remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. To be the change, you can't wait on society. You can't wait for us to say, yes, that's okay, or that we no longer live in a label-free society free of stereotypes. It just doesn't work. To be the change, you have to be the change. You have to take action, and you have to go for it. And remember, just because you've been assigned a plain Jane doesn't mean you have to keep her. You can send her back. Thank you.